So many recipes to share. So many cooks in the kitchen with meals for you to prepare. We've got fruits and grains, veggies and beans, more healthy food than you've ever seen. So many cooks in the kitchen, plant-based meals to prepare. So many cooks in the kitchen with ideas we're happy to share.
Hello and welcome to our May show of So Many Cooks in the Kitchen. My name is Dillard Barman. I'm in North Carolina. To those of you who've been watching us for a long time, did you know in another week or so, it'll be our 6th year. We've been doing these shows every single month for 6 years. So welcome back. We know we have a number of people who watch us every month, so we're so glad to have you back. And if you just discovered us, welcome aboard. We do these shows every month. We are a group of Physicians Committee Food for Life instructors. Food for Life is a nutrition education program of the Physicians Committee. We have a variety of classes that show us, with an ample body of evidence, how eating whole food, plant-based, vegan food with no or very limited added fat can be very healthy and can keep us in good health. And we have classes specifically for diabetes, for example. If you have diabetes, we have, by eating this way, have shown that you can help manage your diabetes, certain forms of cancer, high blood pressure. I teach a class for high-performance athletes. So check out fflclasses.org, pcrm.org. See if you can find an instructor in your area or an instructor who does online classes. So we go kitchen to kitchen, and we have different topics. May, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, is a great time for strawberries. And we're going to be doing strawberry recipes today. We got some strawberries. We like organic strawberries. Strawberries absorb a lot, so we try to buy all organic. You don't need to buy organic, but we prefer to. So we do prefer organic strawberries, and unfortunately the strawberries we bought yesterday don't look great. We bought them. So I ended up, for today's recipe, using frozen. Frozen vegetables and fruits are actually a good choice. They're available year-round, and often they taste better than fresh because they're fresh picked from an organic field and frozen. So frozen strawberries are a good choice. So I took some frozen strawberries and I defrosted it. And I'll give you my secret for defrosting. I just ran the dishwasher and it was warm, and I had pulled the strawberries out, and it was getting close to showtime. So I put it in the finished dishwasher, which was still a little steamy, and I got it nice and defrosted. This dish you don't have to defrost, but I did. I defrosted it largely. So the dish I'm making is inspired by when I was growing up. I don't know if you experienced this, but my mom and dad would give me strawberry milk. And they used something like Nestle's Quick, I think it was called. And there was a rabbit, and it was a red box. And when I was a little kid, I used to really enjoy when they'd bring it home. I have no idea what's in it, but my guess is there's a lot of ingredients. It probably has a lot of sugar, maybe corn syrup. I don't know. It probably doesn't even have real strawberry. I don't know. I don't buy it anymore. So I was trying to figure out what to make for our strawberry show. And I have to give credit to Zardi Plants. I found Zardi Plants, which is a husband and wife team, and they have a lot of great vegan recipes. When I'm done, I'll put the link to their website. I think I put it in my recipe document as well. And I thanked them. I wrote them. I said, I'm going to be featuring a version of your recipe. I never like copying recipes. I like making them my own. But the idea, the inspiration was from them, and it's largely their recipe with some changes. So thank you, Zardi Plants, the husband-wife team, for your strawberry milk. And obviously, we're vegan and whole food plant-based. we're talking about milk, we're talking about a plant milk. And I'm going to be using soy milk. You can use your choice of milk. I like the creaminess of soy milk. I prefer that. I made this a few days ago and I used almond milk and it was fine, but I'm going to try it with strawberry milk. This is a nice recipe. It starts with making a strawberry syrup, which you can use in many different places, including on top of, waffles, pancakes, yogurt. So what I'm going to do is, strawberries, of course, are high in vitamin C, and believe it or not, they're sweet, but they have a low glycemic index. They don't increase the blood sugar dramatically. It's a slow increase, and it's because it has fiber. Serving of strawberries has something like 3 grams of fiber. And soy milk is very, very healthful. You can see, I'm looking at the nutrition facts here. It's reasonably low in fat. You can get lower fat soy milk. I get regular soy milk. It's a great source of protein. It has cancer-fighting properties. It's great for blood pressure. It has potassium, and it also has fiber, a couple grams of fiber. So this strawberry milk, when you drink it, an 8-ounce glass of strawberry milk is going to be something like 5 grams of fiber, 4 or 5 grams of fiber. We in Physicians Committee recommend that you get 40 grams of fiber a day. And so a glass of this tasty drink, which doesn't amplify your blood sugar much, gets you an eighth of the way there. It's a couple days ago, my previous batch, my daughter finished it, I think, at breakfast, and I had a bunch at breakfast too. It's tasty, it's not so sweet, and you can adapt the sweetness. I'm using dates, and I want to give you a trick about the dates. Dates are expensive. I love bari dates. And if money were no object, I'd always use bari dates. That's my preferred date to eat. But I use a company. It's called Cochila's Best. And they sell these cooking dates, cooking medules. And what does it mean that it's cooking? It means that it comes in these boxes, that these dates are maybe slightly misshapen, maybe some blotches of yellow, but they're perfectly good. And so, I can eat them. I don't because I prefer the bari, but I use this for cooking. And what I do with my dates is I keep them refrigerated, and then when you want to use them, take them out, let them come to room temperature. But for cooking, I always leave them in the refrigerator because if I'm going to blend it or cook with it. So that's what we have here. All I did is I slit each date in half, and I popped the seed out, and also the stem end. And you can see there's my cut date. So to make this dish, strawberry milk, we're going to start with strawberries. Let me get my blender. You can use any blender. The dates aren't frozen, but I love my Vitamix. So let's go ahead. I'm going to dump the strawberries in. They're defrosted. I wouldn't put frozen strawberries because you're going to get more of a solid consistency. So if it's not fully defrosted, as long as it's mostly defrosted, it's fine. And so any blender would do. So here go the strawberries, 2½ cups. The recipe is in your handout. We will make sure to let you know how to get the recipes, and then I'm going to add the dates. Here come the dates. So 4 dates pitted, and then I'm going to add optionally. I'm going to add some cashews. And the first time I made it, I did add cashews, and my daughter and I both said it's kind of like a milkshake. So the cashews really thicken things, so I would skip the cashews for now. And then if you want something thicker, you can do that. There's many great milkshake recipes, smoothie recipes, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the strawberries, the dates, and the cashews, no cashews, and I'm going to homogenize it. Now, one thing which might surprise you is there's no additional liquid, but the strawberry is going to become very liquidy, okay? So strawberries, dates, and cashews, no cashews. So here goes. It's going to be loud. Sorry about that. I'm going to pause it for a second. Ideally, you want to blend it for about a minute to get it nice and homogeneous. If it's not fully homogeneous, that's okay. I'm going to be blending it again, so I'll have another opportunity. But let me blend it a little bit longer. Close your ears. One of the tricks of blending, what I do is when I blend, I bring it down to low power to let everything sit back near the blades, and then I crank it up again. I'm sure those of you who are watching, probably it's not exciting to watch the blender go. If I were doing this for myself, I'd blend it another half minute. So it's nice and homogeneous, but it's pretty good. And I'll talk about this in a minute. You can add, if you like a little hint of chocolate, you can add some cacao nibs. And I'll talk more about cacao nibs when I finish up the dish, because it's a good topping to the drink. You can see it's nice and thick. I'm going to put it in a pan and heat it. Okay? Now, if you're using a blender, make sure you have an appropriate spatula to be able to really get everything out. When I first made this, I sampled it at this point. It's so good. It's delicious. It's just strawberries and dates. That's all it is. Dates also have a surprisingly nice glycemic index. It's less than you would think. They also are absorbed by the blood slower than you might think they would. Okay, so I'm going to get all the strawberry out. You can see the consistency. It's kind of thick. So I'm going to go ahead and heat it now. Okay, and I'm going to stir it. This doesn't take long. I just want to mix it in a bit. And the blender did a good job. There's still a few chunks, but very few chunks. Also, what I'm going to do, normally I would rinse this right away, because when you blend, if you rinse right away, it makes cleanup easier, but I'm about to dump everything back in, so I don't need to clean it. Okay. So I'm going to just stir it. This part of the recipe is nice to really congeal everything, make it a little bit thicker. If you want to skip this part, you could, but it won't be quite the same result. So I do recommend you take really just a minute, maybe 2 minutes. So while it's cooking a bit, you don't have to constantly stir it. Let me talk about some of the other ingredients. We're going to have a little bit of cinnamon. Now, I don't find cinnamon goes so well with strawberry milk, but I'm adding it because it further reduces your glycemic index, and I use any opportunity to use cinnamon. So I'm going to add a little bit of it, just enough so it's undercover and we don't actually taste the flavor of it. Vanilla is always something welcome, so I'm going to add some vanilla. I have these strawberries, and I hope you can't see them too carefully because they really don't look great. They're organic and they probably taste very good, but some of them are a little misshapen, and we're going to finish them today because they're going to spoil. So I'm going to slit one of them and put it on the end of my glass as just for presentation. This is really nice. I don't know if my brother's watching. My brother visited Honduras some months ago, and he asked me what I'd like, and I said I love the organic cacao that comes from there. So he went to a chocolate farm. They didn't have any cacao ready. Cacao is the outer nibs that you break, and then you have these pieces. If you like the taste of chocolate, this is the real stuff. There's no sugar, no milk, plant-wise or otherwise. It's pure cacao. It's really tasty. Chocolate and cacao do have some good health properties. So one thing they do is they increase the theobromine in your brain, and that kind of gives you a feel-good feeling. If you ever come home and you're a little bit blue, try a little bit. Many people will have a little bit of chocolate. So instead of chocolate with the fat and the sugar, have the real thing. It takes a little getting used to. But for example, my daughter, when she was young, quite young, she probably the first time she had it, she probably said, "This is pretty bitter," but she came to like it. So it's something you can definitely enjoy. I don't drink alcohol, and I sometimes think about that I've had alcohol, and to me it doesn't taste good. But I guess people who like alcohol, that's an acquired taste, and cacao is as well. Okay, you see how it's thickening up a little bit? I don't know if you can see the pan, but it's thickening nicely. You don't want to cook it too long because then your pan might be a little bit challenging to clean, but I'm stirring. So the cacao can be a nice condiment on top of the cup if you want. You can add a little bit of cacao. And finally, you could add a little bit of mint. This is from our garden. I just picked it about half an hour ago. Done. I'm going to call that success. And now I'm going to bring the blender pot back. The handles are not that hot, so I'm going to go ahead and pour. And I don't want to miss any of this nectar, this beautiful strawberry. It's not really a nectar, but this beautiful liquid. So let me get my spatula and tease out whatever I can. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to add, I'm not going to add the cacao nibs. I'm going to add just a little shake of cinnamon, just so it's undercover, we don't taste it. If you love cinnamon and you want the combination, go ahead and add more cinnamon. It's good for you. Some vanilla. I don't measure, but I've included measurements in the recipe for you. To me, the more vanilla, the better. For me, the only impediment is the cost. I actually could add some mint to the blend to give it a minty flavor, but I like to segregate it. I like to have kind of a pure strawberry flavor. And then milk. So I'm using an unsweetened soy milk. Use your favorite plant milk. By having unsweetened, I can control the sweetness through my dates. One other comment is before I do this, I can save some of the syrup because it goes great with yogurt and other things. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. Let me save just a little bit. Let's save just a little bit here. Just enough to have a little bit with yogurt. I love this syrup. Okay, so all I have to do is add the soy milk. I've shaken it. I don't really have to shake it because it's going to be blended. I'm adding 1 container of soy milk, which is 32 ounces. When I made this a couple days ago, it went quickly, and I was thinking next time maybe I should make more, but it's really easy and it's convenient. You just grab 1 container, so I think this isn't really a problem. Okay, there goes the milk. And that's about it. All I'm going to do is blend it. And when I first made it, my daughter and I were anxious to have it, so we had it warm. She liked it a lot, but it's best served cold. I'm going to blend it, and then I have a glass standing by. I'm going to garnish it. I'll serve a little bit, and I'll sample it. But it's best cold. Okay, so let's bring some of the strawberry down. Please ask any questions. I am cooking right now, but my colleagues are there to answer any questions. I will be there after my segment, so I can answer questions. I can't wait to see what everybody else is making. After we're done, I'm going to pass it over to Janin, and I have written down what she's making. I have to check. I think it's a strawberry chia pudding. Okay. And then here goes the top. I'm going to blend, but not for as long. So close your ears for just a second. One thing I love about this recipe is it's strawberry, but it's not like neon red, right? So it's pink because we have milk in it. We have other things. You can tell it's natural and appealing. I don't like things that are, artificially colored, and this isn't. Did you know that in some, I don't know about Nestle's Quick, but in some products they get the deep red colors by grinding up insects. What is it called? Cochineal extract or something like that? I remember I found this out, I think when I was in college, and I said, "You've got to be kidding." So I said, I don't want to have things with cochineal extract. They take some sort of bugs and grind them up. Now I'm being a little fast. There's more strawberry here. If I were being more meticulous, I would blend this, but I want to be conscious of time. So let's keep going. Okay, and we're done. So let's sample some delicious strawberry milk, whole food, plant-based, vegan strawberry milk. Let me just rinse my hands. So easy to do. So here's my glass. Again, this is warm, but that's okay. I'll just pour a little bit. And then let me garnish it. Let me grab my knife. I'm going to take a strawberry like this one. And what I would do is I'd make a very small V just so it fits in nicely. Put it on the top. The leaves don't look great, I'm sorry. And then put a sprig of mint Just a little bit. Let's take this much. Now, if this were to the top, this would be sticking out. So it would look something like that. It fell in. So you would want to put it, near the top. And then if you want, you can sprinkle a couple cacao nibs, which I will do, on top. And that adds a little crunch. If you're thirsty and want a drink, don't do that. But there you go. And then when you serve it, you can enjoy the strawberry. And enjoy the drink. So here's to you. Here's to many more shows. And here's to all of you being successful and making wonderful dishes in your plant-based kitchens. Let's give it a try. The crunch is interesting. And the strawberry flavor is fabulous. It's subtly sweet. Make it your own. If you like sweeter, put a couple more dates in. My daughter's going to really enjoy this because she was a little bit unhappy how thick the previous batch was. You don't need cashews. No cashews at all. It's good. So give it a try. Easy dish. It's a great time for strawberries. Strawberries can always be found, at least where we live, frozen. Let me see who I'm introducing next. So, I have a note here. If you want, you can actually add some cream on top. And Brenda Davis, thank you, Brenda. Brenda always does a great job with an appendix to our show, and she has a recipe for a plant-based whipped cream. In my recipe document, I have a recipe too with aquafaba. So if you want some cream, put it on top. It becomes less of a dessert drink, more kind of like an evening refreshment. So if you want, you can add a cream. Janin is next, and I believe Jean. And I'll see you during Q&A. We have some nice giveaways if you ask questions during the Q&A period. Take care. See you soon. Take it away, Janin.
Marhaba. Welcome to my kitchen in Abu Dhabi. Thank you, Dilip, for the nice introduction and to our strawberry day. Well, here we are in Abu Dhabi. It's a very windy day, and I don't know if my windows are going to make noise during this presentation, but beware. Abu Dhabi and the whole region has been going through a stressful time, to say the least. It's since February 28th that the animosity between the countries here has continued on and off, making it really stressful for us residents. But we are grateful to how diplomatically the government here has handled the situation and protected our lives. Coming to our beautiful strawberry topic today, I have chosen to make a strawberry chia pudding. I love chia puddings. They're versatile. They're so easy to make. You can use chocolate, cocoa powder. You can use bananas, which I did yesterday with a chocolate banana pudding. My husband adored it. And with or without even additional plant milks. So today I have prepared my strawberries, my whole mix, actually. They're all in the little blender container. I just wanted to show you, because I say in my measurements 1.5 cups of chopped strawberries. So some of them were big, some of them are little. I basically cut them into sizes like this, because obviously you can fill 1.5 cups of strawberries rather quickly if they are whole. So I use them this size, and they came to 1.5 cups. So the 1.5 cups are all in there. Now I add the additional few pieces, and I have my 1 cup of soya milk. You can use whatever milk, plant-based milk you like. I like soya because it gives extra protein, and this kind doesn't have any sugar added to it, so I like it. It's been fortified with calcium and vitamin B12, which I also find a plus for a whole food plant-based person. The strawberries were rather fresh. They still have their little green leaves on them. I saved a couple. I was thinking to use them perhaps as decorations. And so here we go. I have all the ingredients in here. They've been sitting there for a few minutes, so let me get them a little bit of a shake up. And I have my chia seeds. I will add them last. There's 4 tablespoons of these, but as always, we have the recipe booklet for you, so don't worry about taking notes and remembering everything. There's also the already the vanilla, and oh, I haven't put this in, but this time I decided to put just as a smidgen, a pinch of cardamom, because I love the smell of cardamom, and it sort of adds this wonderful exotic feeling to desserts. And I thought strawberries would go beautifully with it. So the cardamom is in it. Smells nice. Here goes the chia. I'm gonna stir it a bit. I always make a mess with chia seeds. I used to find powdered ones, which aren't coming here lately. A lot of things have been disrupted, although I'm grateful we can find everything. I mean, not finding powdered chia is sort of like a extravaganza. But anyhow, here's my sometimes this is not the easiest. So here they are. I'm gonna shake it a bit to try to see if I don't have the chia stick to the sides. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna make some noise. Bear with me. I love the color. It's been half a minute. I like sort of shaking it one more time at half a minute and then go for another half a minute. And sorry for all the noise. So I'm going to go over to the sink to open this just in case it splatters all around. Oh, you heard that. So I have a wonderful oyster here. And let's see. Smells lovely. I have 2 pretty containers that I'm gonna pour here. You can see how it's already rather thick while pouring. And I have my handy dandy jars. So you can have like 2 big servings, meaning like roughly 1 cup servings. Or you can have 4 smaller servings. This time I made 4 smaller servings, and obviously I'm not going to decorate them now. Because they still have to go in the fridge and thicken. Okay. It's a very lovely, not overpoweringly sweet pudding. Creamy and wonderful. The strawberry flavor comes out. The hint of cardamom, I could even use more if I actually wanted it to be more aromatic. And here they are. So these will now go into the fridge. I thought that I would chop some pecans and decorate it with the pecans and 1 little strawberry on top. They will look very pretty. One can't deny that berries are like recommended by everyone in our whole food plant-based world of medical doctors, nutritionists. Our Food for Life Power Plate has fruits front and center, of which they are a good member. But in particular, for example, the G bombs of Dr. Furman, he recommends to have berries as part of a regular, almost daily diet. B in the G bomb stands for berries and beans. G is greens, beans, onions, and the whole family of onions, berries. M is bomb. I forget the M. And S is the seeds. And so if you regularly add these ingredients and mushrooms, how can I forget? I like eating mushrooms all the time. So G bombs, and one of them is berries. Dr. Christy Funk, in her breast cancer avoidance risk reduction diet, recommends berries. Dr. Greger, in his Daily Dozen, recommends berries. I find that this, just few ingredients, is a very easy way of incorporating berries in a delicious and delightful way into your diet. So in a couple hours in the fridge, these will be ready. They will thicken more, or you can do them and use them the next day. That's all from me. And here, this time you go from all the way here to Montgomery, Alabama, to Carolyn, who has something delightful to share with us. Thank you for joining us for this strawberry session. I hope to see you all in June. Bye. Ma salam from Abu Dhabi.
Hi, thanks, Jonan. I'm Carolyn Strickland in Montgomery, Alabama, and today I am making one of my favorite things to make in the summer, and that is strawberry rhubarb bars. So, strawberries, like we're doing today, so many strawberries, and rhubarb go together so very well. Rhubarb tends to grow in the northern part of the United States. It doesn't grow very well where I live in Alabama, but
I get it at the grocery store sometimes when they have it. So I always grab it when I can find it and cut it into chunks and freeze it. So today I'm actually using some that I had frozen. What we're going to do first is start with, so these are bars, strawberry rhubarb bars. So that's going to have a crust and a filling and then some more crumble on the top. And this is very low fat. I think there is probably less than 2 grams of fat in a serving. So it's actually, made without oil or butter, but still absolutely delicious. So the first thing you want to do is grab an 8x8 baking pan. And I have lined it with parchment paper, which I make it fit the parchment paper by cutting the corners. So as you can see, the corners are cut, which makes it fit down inside and stay a lot easier. So that's ready, and the oven is now heating to 350 degrees, and we'll get started on the crust first. So we're going to start with, we have flour. So you could use all-purpose flour, you could use whole wheat pastry flour. I use a combination of all-purpose and whole wheat pastry flour, but you could go with your favorite flour, and it's 1 1/4 cups. And then 1 1/4 cups of whole rolled oats into the bowl. And then we have baking soda. So that is about 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And we have 1/4 teaspoon of some iodized sea salt and 1/4 cup of a granulated sugar, and I am using coconut sugar. I prefer coconut sugar because it is unrefined and it won't spike your blood sugar as high. So I'm putting in 1/4 cup of coconut sugar and then 1/2 cup of brown sugar, which, it's just 1/2 cup. So it's not a lot, and this is dessert. But you could use brown coconut sugar if you want to. You could use regular brown sugar. This happens to be organic brown sugar. Sometimes I use brown coconut sugar, so it's really depends on what you have on hand. And it's just 1/2 cup of that. Okay, so sometimes the brown sugar hardens up a little bit, and I'm just tossing all of those dry ingredients together. So that was flour, oats, baking soda, salt, granulated sugar, and in this case, coconut sugar. You could use date sugar as well. That could work if you don't want to use refined sugar. And 1/2 cup of brown sugar, which I'm using organic brown sugar. Okay, and then to make this into more of a dough, we're going to have to add something liquid. So traditionally, this kind of a dish calls for butter here, or oil, usually butter. But instead of using that, I'm trying to make this pretty low fat. So I'm going to add applesauce, and I have 3/4 cup, but I also have some extra just in case it needs it. All right, so we get all of that scraped out. This is 3/4 cup. You might need up to a cup, just depending on what it looks like when you get done. So depending on the humidity where you live. And okay. And then we also have vanilla extract, which you could add. This is 2 teaspoons. You could add a little bit of almond extract too if you want to. Oh, the reason my applesauce is so pink, sort of pinkish, rust-colored looking, is because I'm using cinnamon applesauce, and it is unsweetened applesauce. But it is a cinnamon-flavored applesauce. Okay, so you get all that mixed up, and it's going to be a nice dough. We'll just have to see how it looks. So I think I did add a splash of flavoring in addition to vanilla flavoring, because I really like almond flavoring too. But you don't want to go too heavy on that. It's a little bit stronger than vanilla. Okay, look at that. Okay, it's coming together. And you really just want it to get all of the flour incorporated so you don't see a lot of dry flour spots. And I think I'm going to have to add maybe another spoonful of the applesauce. So let's try just a little spoonful of the applesauce. Okay, see if we can get more of that flour incorporated. So I guess in total I'm using maybe 3/4 of a cup of applesauce plus about a tablespoon. And that looks about right. So I'm not going to use the entire cup. Okay. There, that looks pretty good. So, okay. And then we're going to we'll let that sit for just a second and we'll get to the filling that we're putting in it next. Okay. So for the filling, I'm going to put 1.5 cups of chopped strawberries that I just bought at the farmer's market this morning. So 1.5 cups chopped fresh organic strawberries from the farmer's market. We are very fortunate that we are members of a CSA, Community Supported Agriculture Farm here in Montgomery called Coosa Fancy, and we love Coosa Fancy. And this is 1.5 cups of rhubarb, chopped rhubarb. There you go. And then to that, I'm going to add a tablespoon of fresh squeezed lemon juice, a tablespoon of granulated sugar, so I'm using coconut sugar, a tablespoon of cornstarch. That's going to help thicken the filling while it bakes, a tablespoon of maple syrup, which is optional. I mean, you could leave out either the granulated sugar or the maple syrup, but they have a really nice flavor when they come together. So I'm using both. You don't have to. All right, we'll get that all stirred up into a nice filling. If you don't like rhubarb, absolutely just go ahead and use 3 cups of strawberries, and that's fine. Some people don't like rhubarb. I love it. It has a really nice tart and tangy flavor, especially when paired with strawberries. It is really delicious. If you don't know what rhubarb is, then you've been missing out. So rhubarb looks kind of like red celery, but it's not Swiss chard. So it's much thicker, but it does look like big fat red celery. They sell it in a grocery store near us. And apparently the grocery store didn't know what it was, and they put it with the celery, so they had no idea what it was. Okay, so we'll let that sit aside, and we're going to come back to our base. Okay, so in the pan, I'm going to add 2/3 of that dough, or crust. So, and the way I'm going to figure out what 2/3 is, this is my usual trick. I flatten it out really well. And then probably kind of just draw lines into it with a fork, kind of in the shape of a peace sign, I guess. That'll kind of divide it into thirds. Okay. And then 2/3 of it is going into the pan. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to spread it out a little bit into the pan, all the way into the corners. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so I kind of want it to be relatively even across the bottom, kind of thick. And that's why we're using an 8x8 pan, so it actually makes a nice thick crust on the bottom. We don't want it too thin. There we go. Okay, and then I'm pouring the filling over the top of that. It's very liquidy, but that's fine because we have that cornstarch in there, which will thicken it up. There we go. Okay, and we'll spread that out into the corners. go. Okay, so that looks pretty even, I think. There we go. Yum. Okay. Oh, it smells so good. Oh my goodness. And then I'm going to take the rest of it and drop it in little clumps onto the top for kind of a crumble. Not really a crumble topping. I mean, it's more crust on top, but you will see the beautiful color of the strawberries and rhubarb peeking through because it won't cover the whole top. So we just want to kind of spread it out, you know, randomly across the top, but try to get it relatively even to cover most of the spots on the top. Okay, we're getting there. But you can see that's, you know, it's not a real, it doesn't have to be real neat and pretty. It's a very rustic little bar recipe. Okay, almost there. There we go. Look at that. We're getting there. That's almost all of it. Find any big open spaces and drop some in. Okay. And the nice thing about it is the filling will kind of soak into some of the crumble topping, and it's just delicious. The flavor is fantastic. Okay. It's a little bit sticky, but that's okay. Let's see if I can get any more out with my spatula. Okay. Don't want to leave any crumb topping behind. All right. Look at that. Okay. So that's pretty well spread out. All right. So then this is going to go into the oven for anywhere from 45 to 55 minutes, depending. So what you want to look for is that the filling is bubbly and starting to bubble up around the crumble topping. And then the crumble topping is, you know, pretty much baked through and sort of golden brown on the top. So it'll go in 45, usually 45, 50 minutes or so, and it comes out just amazing. And this is what it looks like right out of the oven. So you can see that it bubbled up and it has some beautiful spots where the filling kind of bubbled up through the top. It's just delicious. So yum. I do hope you try this, and do let us know in the comments if you have any questions. Also be sure to ask a question during Q&A so you can be entered in the drawing today. So, and I do hope everybody tries this. It's absolutely the perfect dessert for summer. So, and now I'm going to send you over to Cody because I think Cody is making strawberry jam. So over to you, Cody.
Hello. Hey, Carolyn. You know, your demonstration looks wonderful. Everything you do always turns out so beautiful and delicious. And I'm really looking forward to trying that recipe. Thank you for sharing that with us today. Welcome, everybody. My name is Cody Stubbe, and I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. And I have another wonderful little strawberry recipe. This is just a fun one that I made up a few years ago when I was looking for like a healthier version of a strawberry jam without all the extra additives, sweeteners that they put in, things like that. So I just wanted to come up with something kind of fresh. So this is my little fun recipe. So basically you're just gonna need like some strawberries, and it kind of depends on how much you want to make. Usually this will probably last maybe 3 or 4 days in the fridge. It's probably gonna go pretty quickly. Nora just tested my already made batch and she just loved it. And this is how it will kind of turn out here. And you can make it as thick as you want, and I'll kind of show you how to tweak things up here to your liking, okay? So there's a little bit of range with the ingredients with this, okay? So what you do first is you're gonna have your blender, and it's kind of nice to have either like a Magic Bullet, or this is a Vitamix, and it has this to make smoothies in. So I'm gonna use this, and it comes with the lid that has the blades on it, so be careful. But what I'm going to do first is take my strawberries and I've already washed them off, and I'm just going to take off the green parts, and I'm going to put probably about 8 to 10 in here. Kind of depends on the size of them. I'm just going to kind of cut them up a little bit so I can kind of get a few more in there. And of course, I know Dilla went through a lot of the health benefits of strawberries, but they're just so fresh, so delicious, and it always makes me think of spring and summertime, and always makes me think of my grandma. My grandma on my dad's side, she had a really beautiful flower rock garden in the back of her house, and she'd have strawberries growing throughout, and we would always go over there and pick them. And it was always just so fun. And there's just nothing better than homegrown strawberries or organic strawberries if you can get them too. But they're so good. So anyway, it always makes me think of my grandma when I'm working with strawberries. And strawberries, can be a little on the tart side, just kind of depends. So try one, and that will kind of help you determine like how much extra sweetener you want to put in there, if you want to put anything at all. Okay, so I have about probably a good 8 in here. Come up nicely. I might do one more here. It smells so good. Strawberries are a good source of course, antioxidants, vitamin C, lycopene, super healthy for you. So I think they're also one that you want to try to get that's organic, because I think they are one of those, berries that are sprayed heavily. If you buy them commercially, if you grow them at home, you control what you put on them, of course. But if you do buy them and they're non-organic, just make sure you thoroughly rinse them off, okay? All right, so I got my strawberries in here, and these ones are a little bit, some of them are really sweet, and then some of them are a little more sour. So I'm going to put a little bit of mango juice in here. Okay, just a little bit. It's going to help kind of make my like jam a little bit softer, and so I can blend it real smoothly. And then I'm also going to put in a little bit of pure vanilla extract, probably just about a half a teaspoon. Try that and see what you think. You can always add more, right? All right. So let's add a little bit. I think I already added some of that. Yes, let's add a little bit more maybe. There, it looks good. Okay. Now I'm going to add my chia seeds. Now this is going to be the way it's going to kind of thicken up that jam, or if you really make it smooth, it can be kind of more like a jelly, but you won't see through it. I think of jelly as more clear. Jam is more of the whole fruit with the fiber in there. That's just kind of more squished, and you can make it as processed as you want, as chopped up. So I got, I think it was a full tablespoon of chia seeds. Chia seeds are also a great source of omega-3 fatty acids, which are very healthy for you, help reduce inflammation in the body. All right, we've been doing some chia seeds today. I know Jonan was making a strawberry chia seed pudding with that, and I can't wait to try her recipe too, because hers are always wonderful. All right, so I got this on here. You can see it, all my ingredients kind of settled to the bottom, which is totally fine here. I'm just going to turn it on. It's going to be loud. Okay, so now if you don't mind the chia seeds as the whole seed, you can leave it like where it's not as mixed as much or as long or as high powered. If you like the seeds kind of more finely chopped, some people really have a hard time with those, then go ahead and just crank it up, get it as smooth as you want. That's totally fine. It will also help if the chia seeds are broken up more, to help kind of make that more of a, kind of hold together better and solidify a little bit more. But what you can also do is, you want a little chunkier. You already got the base of it. You can go ahead and add in a couple extra strawberries here to give it a little bit more chunkiness to it, which is fun. All right, I think that's plenty. That was a big strawberry. There we go. I gotta get that on straight. We'll get strawberry juice all over. Okay, so I'm just going to do this one just a little bit here because I want a little bit chunk in it. There, I think that's probably good. Okay. Mold. So I got all my ingredients in there. Yeah, it looks like a smoothie. You could drink it like a smoothie if you really wanted to, but it's going to start thickening up. And you'll probably want to put this in the fridge and let it set for probably a good hour or two, unless you feel like it's thick enough to use now. So it's pretty runny at this point with some chunks in there. So I would let it set for a little bit longer. Or maybe just don't add as much juice. This is one of those things where you kind of have to fine tune it to your liking. So if you feel like this is, you want more berries in there, add more berries. You can even add like blueberries to this, whatever kind of berries you want would be so much fun. Raspberries, if you don't mind the seeds with those either. But right now I'm going to go put this in the fridge here soon. But I have one that I did earlier today about an hour and a half ago. I made it just so it's all ready. So it's a little bit thicker, if you can see that. And I'll probably even thicken up a little bit more, which I'm going to try some here on this toast. Nora tasted this earlier and she just loved it. So I have some cranberry walnut toast that I made. Well, I bought the bread and then I toasted it. So as you can see, it gets on there real nice. It will run a little bit, so. That was really good. Very tasty. Now, if you run across, excuse me, some strawberries that are really tart and you need something else to sweeten it, let's say that the whatever juice you guys use is just not sweet enough for it. You can do apple juice, whatever, orange juice, whatever flavor you want to combine with that is totally fine. Or even a strawberry juice if you just need a little extra in there. But let's say that this is just too tart. You can add just a little bit of maybe some maple syrup in there too. Like maybe start with a half a teaspoon and see if that's enough for you. And then go with that. But it's so good. Okay, you guys gotta try this. Make it soon, okay? Let me know what you think. And thank you for joining me in my kitchen. I hope you give it a try. And try it with different other combinations too of berries and let me know what you think. All right, you guys. Thank you, and I will see you later. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Cody. That looked great. Now is our time for Q&A. The bad news is Cody had to run. She told me even before she started, she said, I'm going to have to leave right after presenting, and Carolyn and John couldn't join. So it's just me for Q&A, which is okay. I miss their company, but I look forward to your questions. So this is the point in our program where we take questions. You've asked some good questions throughout, and I'm so excited because we have two giveaways. First giveaway is Vegetarian Resource Group. I love them. They're a great organization. They have a wonderful magazine called Vegan Journal. It used to be called Vegetarian Journal and changed maybe 3-4 years ago. And I love this. I came up with a good, Karen and I often, we're the ones who figure out what the giveaways are. And I wanted to give away a strawberry dehuller, and I have a dehuller. The problem with my dehuller is it's a little metal clip, and I lose it. I can't find it. And so we found this, and I bought it for myself, and I just got it 2 days ago. And it's amazing. This is called Dream Farm, and this I won't lose, and it also becomes a little more compact. Looks like I'm doing a commercial for them. I don't mean to do that. And as soon as it arrived, I washed and started using it. It works so well. What you do is you put a strawberry right here, and you just do this and twist, and the top comes off. Or you plunge, and you get more of the white pith out. But you know what else it does? I love cherries. So it's also a cherry pitter. You put a cherry or an olive here, and you go, boom, and then ejects the pit. Amazing. My family's out shopping right now, and I think they're getting a bunch of cherries. I've asked them to get cherries and strawberries. So anyhow, this is one of our giveaways. It's not very expensive, and it's great. So anyhow, those are our two giveaways. I didn't mean to do a commercial. So I'm the only one, so I'm going to take notes. So the first question that comes in is by Janet Doe. So I'm going to write your name down. So Janet Doe. You'll be questioner number 1. I'm being interrogated. And by the way, whoever wins the prizes, we're going to use a different email address. Unfortunately, our website went down in the last week or so. And so we have to get that working. So if you send something to firstname@somanycooks.com, it won't get to us. So I will share that. So Janet asked, what would be a good sub for rhubarb? It depends on what you're doing with rhubarb. I don't have a lot of experience. I wish Carolyn were here. And she had to go, but I think I can reach her by text. And I will send her a text, but I'll answer the question from my point of view. I've cooked with rhubarb in the past as a vegetable. It adds a nice little sweetness to. I've used it with potatoes. It goes well. I add like the crunch. But if you don't like rhubarb and you're looking for a crunch, celery would be a good substitute. Just like she mentioned that she found it in her grocery store next to celery. But celery would not be a good substitute for her dish. And I remember she commented in her recipe that you can just throw more strawberries in. Let me quickly send her a message because she's scurrying out the door, but maybe she could answer. So I'll say, what is substitute for rhubarb? Okay, let's see. Not a question, but Janet mentions my grocery store doesn't carry it. Okay, so I would just make her dish with just strawberries. It'll have a different texture and it'll have a different flavor, but I think that would be fine. So I sent her a message. I know she's busy, but hopefully she can respond. She is responding. What is the substitute for rhubarb? I wanted to talk about a few things too. Here is a question. Oh, Scarlett, excellent question. So question 2 is Scarlett. We miss her too. So all of us are busy. I guess I started the show, so I'm always here. So she's in Atlanta, and I think she's planning on joining us in the next few shows. She travels. She was in India for a while. So yeah, I like Shobha's demonstration. Shobha's awesome. My daughter and I went down to Atlanta to Carolyn's for her daughter's wedding, and we were passing through Atlanta. We wanted to spend a night, and I asked Shobha, can we visit with you? She said, of course. She said, but I won't be there. And she gave us access to her house. She has a beautiful house. And we stayed at her house. So she travels a lot. We definitely would like Shobha back. Okay, note from Carolyn. Just add any other fruit to make 3 cups. Good choices are blackberries and peaches. Okay, so more questions. Here's another question from Hyacinth. Hyacinth, you'll be number 3. We'll do a drawing. So Hyacinth. Can't wait to see who wins these the magazine subscription and this dehuller. Rhubarb, is there any health benefit? Yeah, rhubarb is a really good source of vitamin K, which is good for your bones. It has something like 2 or 3 grams of fiber per serving. Fiber, we recommend in Physicians Committee that you get about 40 grams of fiber a day. So, rhubarb gives you, I think it's 2.5 grams of fiber per serving, something like that. But be careful. There's a couple of things with rhubarb you do have to be careful about. It has oxalates. If you get kidney stones and you have the kind of stones that oxalates make worse, then you want to avoid it. I actually do get kidney stones, but oxalates don't affect my kidney stones. I understand that the leaves of rhubarb are toxic, but when you buy rhubarb in the store, it comes just as the stalk, so you don't get the leaves. With celery, you do get the leaves. You can enjoy the leaves of celery, but don't eat the leaves of rhubarb. It's crazy how Mother Nature creates things which are very nutritious and then that are toxic, and there must be some biological reason why, but don't eat the leaves. When I was a little boy, we lived in small town Ohio, and just like all other little kids, I was super cute, and we lived in a family with a new immigrant. My parents were new immigrants from India, so this woman was a new immigrant from Sicily, and she taught my mom to make amazing pizza. And she became my grandma. I called her my grandma, and so I remember I have very fond memories from when I was very little, 2, 3, 4 years old. She used to can vegetables. She had a walk-in basement, and she grew a lot of rhubarb. And I remember her picking rhubarb for me, and I can't remember if she cooked it or what she did, but I remember she gave me rhubarb. Okay, so there are health benefits. Okay, another question. Okay, You're welcome. And all right. All right. So more questions. We have questions. We'll enter you in the drawing. I wanted to mention a little bit about Carolyn's segment. She mentioned using applesauce. That's a great way to, instead of using, for example, eggs or other things to bind baked goods, banana also works well. So applesauce is a good choice. Many of you are familiar with, there's a company called Energy, ENER-G, egg replacer. And Bob's Red Mill also has an egg replacer. It has flax and other things in it. So it's very, very easy to totally do without eggs in baking. Nobody asked that, but I thought I'd throw that out. Someplace I think I have a handout which talks about substitutes for eggs, and I bet you we do on our pcrm.org website. Speaking of PCRM, all of us are Physicians Committee instructors. We teach Food for Life, PCM, PCRM, FFL, Food for Life classes, and this is our power plate that I think Carolyn referred to. And we recommend eating amply from fruits, grains, vegetables, and legumes. And that's it. That's your power plate. Until very recently, the U.S. government's food pyramid was looking more and more like ours, and we were very disappointed with the newest iteration, but we were going in the right direction. I also wanted to make a comment about strawberries and organics. So in our show, we don't push organics. In the Physicians Committee programs, we don't push organics. We would love for you to consider being as close to vegan as possible, entirely vegan, whole food, plant-based. Some of us, myself included, do prefer organic. We buy almost entirely organic. I don't buy 100%. I try to, but sometimes I don't. I have this really nice new recipe I want to try, which involves, it's actually from Rochester Lifestyle Medicine that I'm on the board of, the advisory board. And when I say we, I'm part of it, but I didn't write this recipe. Last week, or about a week and a half ago, have a recipe that I want to make with eggplant and artichoke hearts. And it calls for the liquid the artichoke hearts have been sitting in. And I've been having trouble finding organic bottled artichoke hearts. So if I don't find it, that was one of the things I asked my wife to pick up on the way home today. I'll use that. But organic is a great choice if you can find it and if you don't mind spending a little bit more money. A lot of people are complaining nowadays about how food is so expensive. And it's interesting because everybody's different. And I'm pretty insensitive, and maybe this is being a little elitist now, to food prices. I like quality regardless of price. But I don't spend money on too many other things. So we all pick where we spend our money. So I prefer organic. But coming back to strawberries, there's a thing called the Dirty Dozen, and strawberry is usually near the top. It's very absorbed. It absorbs a lot. And so when farmers spray their fields, then it gets absorbed into the berries. So I definitely prefer organic strawberries. That's all we buy. Okay, question here. I have the Energy brand egg replacer. I've been using it for decades. James and I live in Rochester. Yep, that's right. That's right. Take advantage of some of our Rochester Lifestyle Medicine programs. So my good friend Ted good friends Ted and Carol Burnett, it's their organization. I also wanted to spend a few minutes talking about chia seeds. I like chia seeds, and as I was watching the show, I was thinking, why don't I use chia seeds more? Honestly, we've used it in my house, but it's been my daughter and my wife. My wife went through a phase where she was using chia a lot for drinks, and my daughter has made chia pudding. I think I've made chia pudding once or twice, but I haven't used it a lot. And watching the show has inspired me. Chia just has so many benefits. It's high in omega-3s. It's a complete protein. Complete protein is a food that gives you all of the 9 essential amino acids we need. There's more than 9 amino acids, but there's 9 that are essential, which means we can't make them. We can make the other amino acids from other foods we eat. So we do need those essential amino acids. So it's a complete protein. Not that that's that big a deal. Sometimes if you're going vegan or plant-based, some people will say, well, where's your protein? We get lots of protein. It's not something generally we have to worry about if you're eating a reasonably varied diet. If you look at the largest land animals, they are plant-based, and they get plenty of protein, and they have excellent bone health. So By no means do you have to eat animal foods to get protein. There's a lot of protein. I'd rather get the protein from the sources the animals are getting them from the plants. But chia also is a high source of fiber. It has 10 grams of fiber per serving, and we recommend 40 grams. Most Americans get 8 or 9 or 10 grams. So 10 grams of fiber per serving of omega-3. Okay, question from Hyacinth. Okay, there's only 3 people asking questions, so 2 of you will win, unless there's a few more people who ask. If you wash strawberry with baking soda and vinegar, will that be okay? Hardly can get organic here. Yeah, I think that should help. They also sell solutions that you can spray on fruits and vegetables, but baking soda and vinegar should help. The vinegar can leave a little bit of a flavor behind, so watch out for that. Once in a while, if we're at a party or someplace and they have strawberries, I actually avoid the strawberries unless I know they're organic, but we'll eat them, knowing they probably aren't organic. So this kind of thing is the trend. If you're eating strawberries all the time, and you're eating not organic strawberries, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But life is a matter of mitigating risks. When you wake up in the morning, get out of bed, there's a risk. So if you choose to eat not organic strawberries, well, so be it. You're just maybe slightly increasing your risk of some health problems. So I try to get organic strawberries. It's available for me now. Hyacinth, it's not so available for you. Does that mean that you shouldn't eat strawberries? That's up to you to decide. I guess if I lived someplace where there was zero availability for organic strawberries, I love strawberries. My personal decision, I probably would buy it occasionally. I wouldn't eat it a lot. So I'm sorry you can't get organic strawberries. Okay, Janet Doe, we have you down. You're the first questioner. Is there a difference nutrition-wise between white and black chia seeds? I don't know. I suspect not. Sorry, let me change that. I suspect there's a very small difference, but they're so nutritious that it hardly matters. So a similar question is when you cook beans, generally when you cook things, the nutrition goes down a bit, but beans are a nutrition powerhouse. And so we actually err on the side of overcooking beans because undercooked beans can cause a little bit of gastric distress. So I wish that Carolyn were here. I wish Janin were here, but I don't think there's much of a difference. There probably is some difference, but they're probably both almost equally nutritious. All right, let me spend a few minutes talking about our upcoming shows. Let me see if I have a banner, and please keep asking questions. We have 2 really cool shows planned. So our June show is so many stuffed vegetables. And I've been practicing a dish, and this stock photography of zucchini is it zucchini or eggplant? Maybe it's eggplant. But I've been trying, I've made it a few times, a stuffed zucchini, and it's great. It's very versatile. There's a lot of things you can stuff it with. I think you'll like that. That's probably what I'm going to make. And then that's June 13th, so just a couple weeks away. And then July 25th, we have a so many bean salad, and that also is what I'm going to make. I'm going to make something like this, I think. I've been practicing. I've never done this until a week or so ago before, but combining dried beans, like chickpeas or red beans, black beans, with green beans. So they're both kinds of beans are very nutritious. They're both legumes. But combining them is something I had never done before, and it comes out great. So those are our 2 upcoming shows. I'm looking forward, maybe in the August show, but probably not. Some of you know, I don't know if some of my students are watching, I teach plant-based nutrition, but I also teach math, and my school's growing very nicely. So I have, the school has invested in some new property, and it's under construction, and we're planning, but there's always delays. Hope we don't have delays, that it'll be open for the next school year, and it has a kitchen, and I'm going to do my shows from that space. And so we're designing that space. It's a small kitchen. So we're at the moment thinking about if we can get a removable wall and figuring all those things out. So hopefully, probably not the August show, but maybe the September and October shows will be from the new space. I'm really excited about that. So I'm looking forward to showing that to you. Just looking further ahead, the November and December shows, what we've been doing for the last number of years, this is 6 years of having the show, is those shows we record. we don't record. We take past shows and we rebroadcast it, and we do 2 or 3 or 4 shows in that holiday season because all of us are really busy. I host the country's biggest vegan Thanksgiving. I don't do any cooking, but there's a lot of organizing. So November, December is usually just a rebroadcast. We have so many shows. We've been doing for 6 years. Okay, some more comments have come in. Okay. Oh, wow. Happy birthday, James. So I hope that we'll be lucky enough to have you join us for your birthday. And I have a terrible memory. So remind us during the show to say it's my birthday. Then maybe we'll sing happy birthday. All right. And then, and we need to add, Krista, you need to turn that into a question, or James, turn that into a question, and then you can be in the drawing. And then Krista, yeah, stuffed veggies sound great. I love the stuffed zucchini I've been making. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do for the show. It's been a long time, but I don't know if anybody's going to do stuffed bell peppers. I've made stuffed bell peppers. And when I made the stuffed the zucchini, I love cheese sauce. It just uses cashews, nutritional yeast, garlic, maybe some red bell pepper for color. We had a visitor, one of my relatives from India. She's amazing. She does a lot of work in rural areas in India for the underserved, and she's on a tour. She's right now in Boston, I think. So she stayed with us for a little while, for one night. Sanjana is her name, Sanjana Mohan. And so I made that for her, and the cheese sauce was so good. My daughter also makes a good cheese sauce. My daughter was saying that was one of the best cheese sauces. Yeah. Okay, I agree. I like bean salads too. So we don't have a theme for our August show or our September or our October show. So send us some ideas. We haven't done a show on potatoes, I don't think. That would be kind of fun. Maybe I had proposed to the other cooks in the kitchen a show on radishes, and people thought that was a little bit too specific. Cody had mentioned that she sometimes roasts radishes. I've never done that. I'd like to do that. Okay. So if you have any ideas of our upcoming shows, you know what, Brenda Davis, she always writes our nutrition appendix. She's my favorite nutritionist. She said to me, you like the idea of potatoes. All right, there's a lot you can do with potatoes. Brenda suggested to me, our very first show 6 years ago was about beans. And I remember I had all sorts of beans out in my kitchen. I showed them off. And Brenda said, each bean has unique characteristics. You should keep going. And so we did do a show, I think last year, on black beans. So maybe we should do a show on red beans, adzuki beans, white beans, cranberry beans. They're not so easy to find. They're also called berloti, I think, berloti beans. I've been thinking we should do a show on pizza. I love pizza. We last night went out for pizza, and I'm always looking for good pizza. I find when you go out for pizza, if it's a good, high-quality pizza with great ingredients, it doesn't need cheese. But if it doesn't have great ingredients, then having some vegan cheese can be helpful. But I usually get my pizza without cheese. By the way, I hear my wife and daughter have just pulled in. I hope you don't hear them as they walk in. Yeah, I was wondering if you do white beans. Yeah, I think that'd be good. Okay, let me do the drawing then. So let's go to random.org. And I am going to pick a number from 1 through 3. Last chance, any more questions? So we're going to give away the magazine subscription first. So number 1 will be Janet, number 2 will be Scarlett, and number 3 will be Hyacinth. Now, if you win, let me put this up. If you win, then there's a new email address you need to use because our website is down. SoManyCooks.com is down. So this is the email address, somanycooks@proton.me. I just put it together just before the show. So if you win, please send an email there. Okay, so the winner of the magazine is number 1. So let me write that down. Let's see. The winner of the VRG magazine, Vegan Journal, is Janet Doe. And Janet, you've won before, so I think we have your address. But Janet, would you confirm you're here? Would you confirm that you're sending an email to somanycooks@proton.me? Okay. Now, the other prize, and Janet, you can't win this because you won one prize, is this guy. I love it. And as I said, my family just pulled up. So right after the show, I'm going to have some, presumably strawberries and cherries. Works so well. I should have gotten something like this years ago. So this is the prize. So the winner of that is, let's do a drawing. Number 1, you don't get that again. Number 2. So number 2 is Scarlet. So Scarlet White, you won the strawberry color. Okay, so Scarlet, please confirm you're here and that you will email us at somanycooks@proton.me. So Scarlet, please confirm, and we'll be glad to get you the color. I just bought it a few days ago. It arrived within like 2 days. Okay, so please email. Okay, great, James, you're going to love it. I know in Rochester you guys get lots of berries up there, so you're going to really enjoy this. So please email James. Congratulations. Okay, excellent. So you guys are a couple, so whomever, so please email. So with that, unless there's any final questions, we love the show. Strawberries are wonderful. That strawberry milk I made was so good. I've made it a few times. The husband and wife team who inspired me, thank you so much. I loved your recipe, made some changes, and tried with the cacao nibs once, see what you think. I actually don't like it with cacao nibs. It slows down the drinking, but it's nice. With all these things, when you blend fruit, remember that fruit is designed to be eaten more slowly, and the fiber keeps your glycemic index from rising too quickly. When you drink fruit, your glycemic index can go up, faster. So don't gulp it, but sip it. All right. Look forward to seeing you guys at our next show. And let me see if I can find our outro here. Please send any ideas for future shows. And thanks for watching. See you. Bye.
So many cooks in the kitchen, so many recipes to share. So many cooks in the kitchen with meals for you to prepare. We've got fruits and grains, veggies and beans, more healthy food than you've ever seen. So many cooks in the kitchen, plant-based meals to prepare. So many cooks in the kitchen with ideas we're happy to share.